Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Good to see you. Very glad you're here, and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the place, this quiet little humble corner of the internet where we do a little drinking and a little thinking. So come join me if you will. And tonight it's Halloween, so maybe we'll have a few spooky rounds, read a little spooky poem, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a good time. Hopefully you have a good time. Anyway, that being said, there were tons of spooky drinks and this and that I could make, but it was all going to take a lot of time, and I'm tired. So I'm just going to have some tea. But feel free to drink whatever you want or nothing at all. I brought the old Earl Grey tonight, which is tried, true, and trusty. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So, anyway, that being said, cheers to you. And Jesus, too. um, Hopefully keep it short tonight. Just wanted to share a poem with you guys, just to celebrate the holiday. Um, you can always do Edgar Allan Poe, right? I mean, Halloween, Edgar Allan Poe, stuff like that. But I didn't want to be cliche on the first Halloween episode, so gonna do something different. I hope you'll enjoy it. Um, yeah. Halloween used to bother me when I was younger. Like I'm a pretty dedicated Christian, and all the pagan stuff, and it was very conflicting. But then when I read a history book, well, lots of history books, the history behind Halloween and Christmas and Easter and all these things, I came to realize that there's nothing more Christian than stealing pagan holidays, and then it stopped bothering me. Um, that and I just find the whole thing enchanting. The pumpkins, the ghosts, the witches and skeletons. It's just fun. And who am I to stop people from having a good time? And I mean, why wouldn't I want to have a good time? That's what we're about. So, anyway, getting right on to it. So, the poem is called "The Highwayman" by Alfred Noyes, who was born September 1880 and died June 1958. So, guy had a pretty good run. Let's see, The Highwayman. Ironically, the poem that's right before this poem in the book is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Not today, Poe. Not today. So, anyway, like I said, just wanted to share something spooky with you guys to celebrate the holiday. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and I hope you'll follow along with me. And yeah, here we go. The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes. And it reads a little something like this.
The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudly seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of the claret velvet, and breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle, his boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jeweled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle, under the jeweled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the dark inn yard, and he tapped with his whip on the shutters, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love-knot into her long black hair. And dark, in the dark old inn-yard, a stable wicket creaked, where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like mouldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened, and he heard the robbers say, "One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet, if they press me sharply, and harry me through the day, Then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. He rose upright in the stirrups, he scarce could reach her hand, but she loosened her hair in the casement, his face burnt like a brand. As the black cascade of perfume came tumbling over his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight, oh, sweet black waves in the moonlight. Then he tugged at his rein in the moonlight, and galloped away to the west. Part 2. He did not come in the dawning, he did not come at noon, and out o' the tawny sunset, before the rise o' the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor. A redcoat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord, they drank his ale instead, but they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement, with muskets at their side. There was death at every window, and hell at one dark window. For Bess could see, through her casement, the road that he would ride. They had tied her up to attention, with many a sniggering jest. They had bound a musket beside her, with the barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, Look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till now, on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger, at least, was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood up to attention, with the barrel beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing, she would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Tlot, 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 tlot. Had they heard it? The horse hoofs ringing clear. Tlot, 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 tlot. In the distance? Were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up, straight and still. Tlot, tlot, in the frosty silence. Tlot, tlot, in the echoing night. Nearer he came, and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned, he spurred to the west. He did not know she stood, bowed with her head o'er the musket, drenched with her own red blood. Not till dawn he heard it. His face grew gray to hear how Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight, and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred, like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs, aye, the golden noon, wine red was his velvet coat, when they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, and he lay in his blood on the highway, with the bunch of lace at his throat. And still of a winter's night they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, a highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clangs in the dark inn yard. He taps with his whip on the shutters, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair.
And there you have it. Pretty intense, pretty spooky. It's probably one of my favorites. And I mean, just the words, you know. When the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. It's hard to find good wordage like that nowadays, you know. I know a lot of poetry nowadays, songs, seem like things got simple, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know. Simple can be good, but I don't know. It just seems like words written in the past, long ago, they have a certain beauty to them that modern literature and songs lack. But maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just getting old. It happens. And time marches on. Speaking of time, I don't want to take up too much of yours. I know there's candy to be had and celebrations to be got. So, yeah. Just wanted to share this with you all, and thought you might enjoy it. I highly encourage you to pick up your own copy of poetry. This one is 101 Best Love Poems. And it's a good one. I really like this one. I find myself coming back to it quite often. I know my favorite one as a kid, growing up, I think it was called Where the Sidewalk Ends. That's right. Pretty good one. I have it in my book collection. I need to find it again. But, you know, whatever poetry or writing strikes your fancy, I won't judge. But I think you might enjoy it, you know. You might be surprised. I know a lot of kids nowadays, they think, poetry, you know, it's boring. I mean, some poetry is, but it's like a drink. You gotta find the right one. It suits you. Anyway, yeah. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You want to see more poetry? Really, let me know. You know, and I like the feedback, like the comments, so leave me one below. And check out any descriptions or notes I might have left. Kind of add to the show. Gives a little spice and variety, you know. So, yeah. Feel like there's a lot more to say. But I can't think of anything, so I won't. I hope you have a very good, very spooky Halloween. Hope you have a good time. And if things are going not well for you, I hope they go well for you. And I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. And if they are going well for you, I'll still pray for you. Because, well, things can turn around, right? And I hope they don't for you. So, anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. Take care, everyone. Good night.